What's going on, everybody? Let me get this mic together. What's going on, everyone? What's going on? I don't think this mic is connected. Let me see. It's connected. Make sure. Is the EQ on there? Cool. What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. We got a great show planned for you guys tonight. Tonight, I want to do a quick live feed where we're discussing something missing here. Don't know what it is. Maybe mic volume. There we go. Got it. Okay. Yeah, tonight we're discussing something I think a lot of new people that are new to business, or people that are potentially potentially looking to get into business may benefit from, or even if you've been in business for a while. And that's, just quick business plan overview, just business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. Oh Lord, I forgot to go live on Instagram. Again, tonight's show we're talking about business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. And the reason why I want to go over this information, because far too often people get into business or looking potentially to get into business, and they have no clue whatsoever on, have no clue whatsoever on the things that potentially may be needed for a business plan, maybe overthinking it, maybe trying to produce too much, or may not have enough. And what I want to go over, just some quick business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. Before we get started, guys, you probably know I am Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Right now, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. But the main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel, where we have over 1,300 videos covering business operations, business finance, business management. We have an active grants playlist with over 150 different grant opportunities for you guys to take advantage of at any time. But as always, if you whatever platform y'all looking at, the main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube channel. So definitely go there, subscribe to the channel, and take advantage of the great information there. And again, tonight we're talking about business plan tips for entrepreneurs. Guys, I'm glad to be back in the saddle. I do want to give one quick note. I will be back in my home at Misfits Radio, Westside Misfits, this Thursday. We normally stream live every Thursday at 8 p.m. So I will be back in the house with DJ Lab Slick 316 this Thursday at 8 p.m. So make sure you tune in. We got a great show planned for you guys then. But, just got back in the lab last week. I was at the 2025 100 Black Men National Conference in New Orleans. That was pretty cool. I've been a member of the 100 over 8 years, and current board member for the South Metro chapter. That was a great experience, man. June 4th through the 8th was that Wednesday through Sunday. Met a lot of great people, learned a lot of great information. Awesome experience every time they do. They over deliver every time they had a national conference, man. So I had a blast out there. I hope you guys enjoyed the live feeds. If you didn't, go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube or Change Your Lives. I actually showed both. I streamed, different days I was out there to kind of go over the information that we spoke on. But it was a great opportunity, great experience for me as well. But again, that 2025, small business, 100 Black Men National Conference, it was off the chisel, man. New Orleans, don't owe me nothing. I had a great time, guys. But again, what we're talking about tonight is just some business plan tips for new entrepreneurs, right? And the reason why I want to just share this with you guys, because again, far too often people come to me and say, "Hey, D, I need some help with a business plan. What a couple things that to go over," and they have this big Bible of stuff that you're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And some of the stuff is applicable, some isn't. Some of the stuff they've just drawn together, and some stuff they've really overthought about what what they need to have. And in essence, guys, just by definition, business plan is pretty much just like a blueprint or a guide for your particular business, right? And you can have that business plan set for different parameters, that being for 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. You just have it for normally, normally, which I always encourage all small business owners, have your business plan just to have it, just to, for you each year, you reset everything starting October, November, getting everything together, drafted up, and that kind of help you set your goals and kind of keep you in line with everything. Or you can go more in depth to have the actual financial statements and the pro forma statements set up for you to try to get some kind of funding. Most lenders, small business loans, they're going to require you to have some kind of quasi financial statement and business plan to be able to turn in. The depth of it, that's going to vary from lender to lender. We got tons of videos on the YouTube channel in regarding that, but I definitely want you guys to kind of just, check out the information we have here, and feel free, guys, if you got any questions or anything like that, put them in the chat in regards to a business plan. Definitely want to help you guys out with that. But again, we're just talking about business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. The first thing I want to just talk about, guys, is just number one, keeping it simple and focused, right? You don't need a 30-page plan, okay? 1 or 2 page outline that clearly explains what you do, who's it for, and you'll make money. And you'll make money is more powerful. Guys, let me say that again. You do not need a 30-page plan. And you just need to know, explain what you do, who it's for, and how you'll make money. That's all you need to do. And that's one of the biggest problems, because a lot of times people just miss out on how they're going to make money. They'll say, we'll sell this, but you got to kind of, give some kind of draft or design. This is what we're going to do. We're going to sell to these people in this area, producing at this level, marketing to this demographic at this cost. You got to have a little bit more in depth. Just say, hey, we're going to sell widgets. But if you can just do those 3 things, explain what you do, who it's for, how you're going to make money. I'm telling you guys, it's just that simple. Keep it simple and focused. Simple and focused. Okay, that's the first thing, guys. The second thing is, I think what most people struggle with, and I don't say struggle, I think most people skip over it. If you guys look at Shark Tank, I talk about this all the time. This is one of the first things that they mainly are concerned with. And that's just, do you know your numbers? It's my Coke Zero, y'all. I'm behaving. Most people do not know their numbers. They'll just throw some arbitrary numbers out. We can make $1 million. We can just sell to these many people, and they have no idea any kind of numbers. You can pull numbers from U.S. Census data. You can go on Google. You can go Chat GPT, Gemini, and pull up, any kind of census data for a particular city, county, state. There are all kinds of tons of different demographic information on who you want to actually be able to push to sell or push your product to. When we say know your numbers, number one, just make sure you include them startup costs. What is it going to cost to start the business up, from the equipment, the insurance, the build out, initial staff? Know that. Have a good idea of your monthly expenses, what you're going to be coming out of each month just to keep the business going. Be as detailed as possible. Be as detailed as possible. Be as detailed as possible. Do not try to skip over stuff, because the bigger the number gets, when you start adding it up, it scares you. Remember, guys, you need to have as much money as possible, because if you kind of understate what you have to put out, you put yourself in a bad situation, because you still always be underfunded. That's one of the biggest things I always tell people when you're actually trying to get loans or look for any kind of funding. You always want to try to ask. You always want to ask for much more than what you need. So if you need 50,000, ask for 75. You need 75, ask for 100,000. You do that because more than likely the lender is going to come back with a lesser amount. So if they come back with a lesser amount, kind of probably in the neighborhood of what you needed anyway. So I always kind of keep that in mind, right? What we got right here, make sure I don't miss anything. And I apologize, guys. Y'all got to bear with me. I don't have a lab here in the 1s and 2s scrolling through everything for me. What we got here, NTG, what's going on? Using Chat GPT is a good building block to build the business plan. Awesome, that's a great idea. NTG says using Chat GPT is a good building block to build your business plan. But like I said, guys, even when you use this, we want to use realistic numbers, your numbers, right? That's the thing about it. When you put the Chat GPT the Google or whatever kind of template you get, the software, whatever, it's going to help you out with that framework. But you gotta have your numbers. You gotta have your numbers, right? You gotta have Atlanta, Georgia numbers. You gotta have Los Angeles numbers. You gotta have New York numbers, right? The market rent for that area, and you got to be able to plug it because again, we want to be as close as possible. We want to have them revenue projections. What are we looking to sell? Not what we and guys, let me say this: don't be don't be afraid to put realistic numbers in, and when they first pop out, it's not what you think, right? If you know you're not going to be in a situation where you can sell, when we talk about the revenue projections, if you're not going to be in a situation where you're going to be able to sell 100 boxes, why the hell are you going to put 100 boxes down? You say, okay, look, we're going to start off and do 2 or 3 of these little pop-up shops, typically around about 100 people there, maybe about, 5 to 10 to buy out there. I'm going to do this in January. I'm going to do 3 more of those pop-up shops in February. Now you can kind of triple them numbers, right? You're going to do a little bit more in March. You can kind of adjust them from there. We want to use realistic numbers, not what you hope, what you think, right? And you can always go back and adjust. That's the whole point of a plan. A plan is not nothing in concrete and written in stone. You just got to be able to, be realistic, because you don't want to sit here and just forecast that you're going to sell 100 or something, and you just throw this damn arbitrary number out and like, oh man, we totally off with our numbers. What we had to do, start off low. Be as conservative as possible. You can always make them adjustments. Okay. Be very, very mindful, guys. When you're going through the process of being an entrepreneur, you're doing these kind of things, you learning on the go, right? So the key thing is don't be so aggressive to say, hey, I know I'm just gonna build all this stuff up overnight. That ain't how things work. Okay. So just make sure when we doing those revenue projections, the revenue is pretty much your sales, right? We as near as possible. Okay. We always want to get, and I always kind of say, guys, when you're doing these plans like that, when you're initially drafting out, remember you're actually gathering everything possible. You're doing that little scope. Let's say 90 days after you got the business plan set up. You can gather data and just say, well, hey man, I'm kind of off. Or depending on if you got something that's cyclical or cycle or seasonal, that means you do most of your sales in the summer, the winter, or the spring. Once you get past that, you can make them adjustments from there. But we want to be as close as possible doing that. And like I said, the second part, knowing your numbers. The last thing, guys, know that break-even point. We know by definition, the break-even point is fixed cost divided by contribution margin, right? And that's pretty much our fixed cost on a monthly basis, rent, insurance, payroll, divided by that contribution margin, which is the unit price divided by the unit cost. So if you're selling the bike for $10 and it costs you $8 to make it, that contribution margin is 2. You divide that 2 into all those fixed costs you have on a monthly basis, and that will get you how many units you need to sell on a monthly basis to break even. That's what we call a break-even point. I have a very in-depth video on how to calculate break-even point on Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. I do the whole spreadsheet where you can see how to calculate break-even point. The break-even point is so critical for you to know, because at the end of the day, that gives you that idea of how many of something you have to sell to be able to break even, just close out each month. That is so critical because far too often people really do believe that if you're selling the bike for $10, if you divide that number into your fixed cost for the month, that's your break-even point. No, that's just your revenue, your unit price. If you look, take that, subtract that unit cost, whatever it costs to make it. Same simple thing like when we start talking about we're selling cakes or we're selling certain other products. It may be a little difference in regards to when you're doing a service company. You may just have an average price, which you may have a service. And when I say service, if it's landscaping and you do your average price is $70 a yard or $80 a yard, you'll just divide that by your fixed cost, and and then you'll be able to get it. But that gives you an idea how many you need to do on a monthly basis, right? We cannot avoid these numbers, guys. I know everybody's not comfortable with doing it. Sometimes they can be intimidating. Go get you somebody to help you out. But at the end of the day, the numbers they determine everything. Words and energy and all that, that's bullshit, because so many times people start their businesses up, hype, and you have no idea what's going on. You got to turn on social media, see all these restaurants. Hey, come check out especially here in Atlanta, come check out the vibe. This is what's going on. This is the hottest new place in Atlanta. Go check it out. And then 6 months later, everybody that's singing and dancing the kumbaya. They got a line around the corner, and everything. Let me see something, guys. We got a rainstorm going on. I'm seeing something waving in the background. I thought somebody was outside, but it's probably just a branch or something. That scared the shit out of me for a minute. But you see something, the energy of people doing stuff in their clothes. Do not get traffic confused with profits. There are a lot of people out here very busy, but a lot of people out here making money. So again, we want to make sure we're as close as possible to numbers. If you can't explain how your business makes money, you do not have a business. You just got a hobby. You got to be able to explain that, guys. You got to be able to explain it. Remember the key thing, guys, you entrepreneurs and business owners, you ain't got to know everything about your business. You just need to know a little bit about a lot of stuff. Okay. You ain't got to be a legal expert. You ain't got to be a finance expert. You ain't got to be a sometimes product expert, but you got to know enough to be when you have to sit down in front of people, especially from a lending standpoint, to explain to people what's going on. Not just this is the business plan or these are the financial statements from my accountant. No, you got to be able to explain it, because at the end of the day, now you got everybody looking at you funny because you just got them some paper that you have no idea what the hell's going on, but you know how to do your product. You know what product you got. You know how to do the service, but you got no idea of the actual financial health for your business. So it's very, very critical, guys. And I understand everybody's at different points with their business where they look at it maybe more so like, okay, look, I'm just trying to actually, put a little bit of money in my pocket in addition to my job. I get it. But we start talking about actually, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to get off the plantation, you want to start your own business, you want to do this kind of stuff. Y'all got to take this shit serious. You got to take it serious, because far too often, people go down this road, they borrow money, they max out credit cards because they seen all this stuff on social media and do it, and then they mess everything up and they back at square one. And matter of fact, they ain't at square one, they at -1. So you just don't want to do it. Do all the uncomfortable stuff. Take your time. Don't be in so rush to change your situation. Take your time. You want to be able to do it right. If you talk to some people and they kind of tell you some things that you didn't necessarily like in regards to where you at and what you need to be, don't always take it as negative criticism. It just might be honesty. It doesn't mean you need to quit. Just make adjustments and go move forward from there. Again, we're talking about business plan tips for entrepreneurs. Just went over keeping it simple and focused, know your numbers. And the third thing is super important. Before I open my mouth any further, remember, guys, I am Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. We stream live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. The main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. Let me make sure I'm looking over this right quick. If you guys are looking at everything on TikTok and Instagram, you're not going to be getting all the links and seeing some of the stuff that we're doing on the StreamYard. I apologize, but hey, only thing I do, go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube, subscribe. And all the links to everything is in the description section of everything. Make sure you're missing nothing. Nobody got any questions or anything. NTG said agreed. We got anything else? Nope, nothing else right now. The third thing, guys, I want to talk about, again, we're talking about business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to ask. We got the chat wide open, guys. If you got any questions or anything, feel free. And also remember, I said the hub, the main channel, Mr. Short Dollar. We got all this information there. When we started talking about different kind of financial concepts, financial forms, financial statements, these break-even analysis, things like that, all of that stuff is on the YouTube channel, okay? So don't hesitate to go there. Just get on top of that information from there. And even information on how to get in contact with me, links to the office and everything, that's on there as well. The third thing we're talking about, business plan tip for new entrepreneurs, is be able to define your market. Be specific. Everyone is not a market, right? Everyone is not a market. Everyone does not want to buy your stuff. Everyone doesn't like your cakes. Everyone doesn't like your hats. Everybody does not want you to cut their yard. Everyone does not want you to touch their car. You got to know how that person looks. I know, just like my niche market, when we start talking about Mr. Short Dollar, right? We have pretty much, entrepreneurs probably that age. I would say most of the people listen 35 to 55, probably a bigger African-American base. Have some a small percentage probably is white. Few that are students with doing this. Most of with doing that. I have a probably 50-50 female base and female male base. And is national store channel. We have over 86,000 subscribers on YouTube. Probably another 30 some thousand on TikTok. So we have, we have and we start looking at all of the platforms combined, well over probably 170,000 with everything combined. So we have a large audience in regards to everything, but I actually know my target. I know what they want to look for, right? I know what they want to hear, what they don't want to hear. So that's why I can sit here and create certain things. That's why you have to define that market. Who wants to buy your stuff, how they look, how much they make, where they located and everything, especially depending on the particular service you may be doing. Okay. So you got to kind of have that stuff niched out. Okay. Just be mindful of that. Okay. Be mindful of that. When we say define your market, you got to know who they are, what problem you solve for them. Because that's one key thing, guys. Sometimes we just want to put stuff out and throw it down people's throat. Solve a problem. What I always tell you guys, the world gonna always need two things: thinkers and fixers. If you can imagine, devise certain things for people, or if you can fix it or repair it, man, the world all gonna have a place for you. If you can only just do stuff, you are gonna have a tough time, right? I mean, you can't, you won't have any success, but it's difficult. But if you actually can create or repair or fix, you always stay busy. So knowing what problem you can solve for people and where you can reach them. When you say where you can reach them, what channel you using, be it social media, be it radio, be it TV, whatever, email, knowing how you're going to be able to get to that market. You got to define your target market. You got to define your target market. That is so critical. You can't. I'm just telling you guys, when you sit here and want to run Google ads, Facebook ads, and buy ads in the magazine and stuff like that, is the people that are going to buy your product or service, do they even look at it? Are they located there? And once you answer that question, that'll help you decide, do I want to keep putting money in this kind of stuff, right? Be very, very smart. Be very, very smart about that kind of stuff, okay? I just want to make sure you guys understand that. Be very smart about it. Know what that target market. The next thing is, guys, outline your marketing plan. Outline your marketing plan. How will people find you? Okay, this is very critical, guys. Far too often, people will sit here and get a Facebook page, Instagram page, and post. But if the people that buy your product or service don't look on that, why the hell are you doing that? You'll get people that'll sit here and say, well, I'm a business guru. Where's your website? Where's this, that, and that? For whatever product or service you have, you need to make sure that you're realistic about what they're trying to do and where they're located and where they actually look for certain information at. If the majority of the people that follow you, they don't do that, I wouldn't waste time or money with doing it, or it may be limited, right? But you want to know where those people are. Are they on social media? Do you need paid ads, referrals, partnerships? Be very, very mindful of it. And just give a good example. I can just look at what certain time with churches, depending on if it's a young congregation or older congregation. With some of the younger people in the congregation, you may want to have everything more digital. You're using the apps, you're using social media. Some of the other people, the older people, depending on the number of it, you may still be able to invest in certain things that are print, right? You may have some things that may be radio. You have to be realistic about the people that you're trying to reach. For your product or service that you're trying to buy, what do they look? Where do they look? Do not try to push stuff on people that you're not gonna spend money with you. You wasting money, you wasting time. And we can get money back sometimes. That's if we sell something, but we damn sure can get time back. So that's very, very important. Whatever product, whatever service or product you're trying to push, know where those people are located at, right? Do they look at Facebook? Do they look at social media? Right? Are they on Instagram? If they're not on that, why the hell are you still trying to push your things, your product or service on there, right? If they are, that's a different conversation, right? If you have to sign and get a billboard or whatever, but just understand that marketing plan in regards to, we already defined the target market. We know who they are. We know how they look. We know how much money they will make, right? From that point, we want to push everything to the product or service where they are, okay? So just be mindful of that, okay, guys? The next thing is, guys, again, we're talking about business plan tip for new entrepreneurs. Again, business plan tip for new entrepreneurs. The last thing I want to talk about is have a clear execution plan. Have a clear execution plan, okay? Break down the first 3 to 6 months. What are your first steps? What's your launch plan? And what goals must be hit in month 6? When we did the video on the KPI key performance indicators. We did that. Make sure you go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Check out the videos for the KPIs, key performance indicators for new businesses and stuff. Guys, you have to have a plan. See, it's one thing to sit here and say, well, look, I got a business plan. And you just want to just feel good and you hand everybody that, I see on social media every time people, they get the LLC and they post a picture up and everybody like, yeah. That ain't shit. And I ain't trying to knock that down, but you got to have your plan devised on how you're going to get it. And that's how anything can go. If you want to get a promotion, if you want to get your kids in a certain thing, if you want to lose weight, you got to have some kind of plan. You got to have some plan. Where you going to be at week 1? Where you going to be at month 1? Where you going to be at the first quarter? And everything has to be breaking down where you're going about it, right? What are the things you're going to put in place? Because remember what we say, guys, once we start putting stuff down on paper, we got to be accountable because we said it, right? I mean, I can talk to you guys all day and night. You've seen the videos where I have the different boards wrote down in my office that I adjust on a monthly basis. I got the monthly goals, the yearly goals, like the goals sitting up for June. If I do everything in January, February, I do those particular goals, everything should go by because we started at the 2025 goals. If I do everything that's listed on that board per month, I should hit those damn 40, 50 goals that I have for 2025, right? So we want to make sure that we have a clear execution plan. It's a plan like we haven't just wrote down all these damn things on a piece of paper. How we're going to make it happen. That's why I told you guys, remember those goals got to be attainable and incrementable. Attainable and incrementable. That means it's something that realistically you can do. Right? I want to be a millionaire next week. You can't do that, right? So we just have to make sure we write down that clear execution plan. What them first steps we're going to take, what's the launch plan, how we're going to get everything started, and what we're going to be looking at just to hit everything by month 6. What are we going to be able to do that? Guys, to get more detailed information like that, you can always book an appointment from a consulting standpoint. But before you even spend money or do anything, 1,300 videos on the YouTube channel. Go down that entrepreneur playlist. Go down that small business playlist. Tons of videos, ton of free information there, okay? So I definitely want you guys to check that information out. We've had this channel for 7-8 years right now. All this information is there, right? I'm just telling you guys. The only thing I do is just spend a little time listening and learning. The key thing is, I can't stress it enough with you small business owners. You know your product, you know your service. You struggle with business. And do not equate business and entrepreneurship with balancing your checkbook or managing your home. I mean, if that's simple, nobody will have a job. Everybody be out here working for themselves. Remember, everything that you do when you go to work has to be replaced in your system when you're working for yourself, right? And we start talking about these key the business plan tip for new entrepreneurs. The key thing is make sure you create that framework out on how you're going to get everything set up. Take your time. Things that you aren't familiar with, get somebody who can help you out with that. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys, and this dealing with me or dealing with anybody else, because again, me being an accountant, a lot of times people are hesitant to come to me because there's no barrier to entry. What I mean by that, you can start your business up without me with the accountant. You don't have to meet up with the architect. You don't have to meet up with the attorney. Most time you have to deal probably with the insurance person, because most time you have to have probably some kind of policy to start up. The issue with that is y'all is going to end up probably some way of how you got to come back and have to get your lawyer. You got to get you an accountant, and you done put yourself in a situation where they can't even fix it. Okay. Cats called me about a month ago. They didn't want to book in a consulting appointment, which is their right. I'm not tripping about that. I'm 24 years in the game. Like I ain't hurt for business, or anything like that. That's their right. But you gotta understand something. When you don't want to spend a couple $100s, but you want somebody to tell you how to make $10,000-$20,000, you can't get caught into that. You can't get caught into that. Now, we'll tell all you guys, make sure you do your due diligence. Look at Google reviews, look at referrals and all that other kind of stuff. I mean, that's fine. But I want you guys to understand that don't try to do things yourself and you don't know what you're doing. Do not, because it's going to be that way. Your scope. There are tons of videos out here on how to do home remedies and fix your body and all this other kind of stuff. Next thing you know, you're bleeding out your ear. You're sitting on the toilet, blood coming out and everything. But you try to do it yourself. Now you got to go to, going to spend that copay and go to the doctor, right? Guys, stay in your lane. Know what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying don't try to equip yourself with information, to make you more informed. but don't miss out on stuff and cause problems in your business because you want to spend money. Okay. If you're new in entrepreneurship, it's nothing wrong reaching out and getting the right people in place. Do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. Find how credible they are. You know what I'm saying? With doing it, that's fine. Right. But be realistic. Don't try to get somebody, you want them to provide, 4 or 5 references, on a $100 service. Like, we got to kind of be realistic about certain things too. And I'm just speaking from the gamut of different stuff I've been asked over the years. Like, look, we're not doing that kind of work anyway. I'm I'm losing money, just with time we spending on trying to just decide if you want to do this or not. But take your time, guys. Take your time, okay? Well, listen, man, I want to wrap that up. I think I want to go over. Listen, the $5 ebook, 5 questions to ask yourself before I'm get my damn ebook. 5 questions to ask yourself before you start a business. That $5 ebook is in the description section of all the videos. 5 questions to ask yourself before you start a business. Very insightful question. I think most people need to ask themselves before they want to go down that road. Because like I said, I see it all the time. That's one of the biggest reasons why we had this YouTube channel. I love people who want to start a business or do something extra. I love the energy about doing it. But the problem comes with, I can't stress it enough, people with their attitude, I got it. And you don't have shit. And what happens, you go down that road and you got it. And then you put yourself in this funky spot where you went through all your relationships. You went through all your money. You done all this stuff. And now you back at square one at that damn job you hated from the first time, or hell, probably a worse situation than that. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that because most of that is rooted in, impatience. Impatience. I don't want to use that negative, say it's greed or anything like that. But if you've been a certain way your whole life, ain't gonna hurt you to be, without a little money just a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? Because what it is, when we leave and start our own business and start going down the road or doing that kind of stuff, we want to make sure we can stay there. We don't want to be doing it then, hey, it didn't work out for me, and now I want to do, just follow the blueprint, stay in line with everything. All that stuff fall into place. Just be patient. Old head told me that a long time ago. Like, young blood, you'll be able to do everything you want to do. Just don't force it. And when I tell you, man, that shit worked for me, I have not forced it. In them few times of my life, when I try to push the issue with certain stuff, it came back and bit me in the ass because I wasn't patient with certain things. It ain't gonna hurt you, just spend a little bit longer time with doing a few things. Let me try to make sure I'm getting all this stuff in for you guys. Okay. We got any questions, concerns, anything? Anybody want to ask anything? Let me go through the chat just to kind of see. Appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody coming in and out. Again, tonight's show, we're talking about a few business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. Let me see if I see anything, go through anything. You guys want any questions? Make sure you check out that June 2025 small business grants videos. Then we got 21 different grant opportunities for you guys to take advantage of. They got different times. The grants have been expiring. So all of them don't end at the same time. Some end this month, some go in next month, some reoccurring. That means they're just renewing on a different basis. So, put yourself out there and do that. And also, guys, check out the previous videos, 1,300 videos. A lot of times people don't want, hey man, that's a lot. With looking through all that kind of stuff, man. I'm just saying you have to make sure that the time you feel like you're spending that you're losing with doing it, is it worth the stuff you may lose by not taking advantage of it? Okay. I mean, get tongue tied so much. We'll make sure I got everything on here. Well, look, man, I don't see anybody with any questions or anything. But look, if you got any questions, pop up later. Go to Mr. Short Dial on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. In this video, just leave a question in the comments. Usually about 24 hours, I'll get back with you with anything. With a response or anything. Okay. Well, look, guys, y'all take care. Love y'all. Be safe. Make sure you tune in to the show this Thursday. I forgot exactly what I wrote it out, but I forgot exactly what the show is going to be on. But again, do that. What's going on now? But make sure you definitely tune in and check that out. Okay. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to go over? That's about it. One thing I do want to say happy graduation day to my class. This is our 30th year when the class 1995 Charles Lincoln Harper High in Atlanta, Georgia. My class was actually the last class of Harper High before they combined with Archer, made Harper Archer. But yesterday was our graduation date, so I want to just give a big happy graduation day down my fellow Trojans that came out being 95, and even all the APS graduates that came out in 95. Man, a lot of times people talk about that old Atlanta. Man, that was a great time, to grow up in the 90s in Atlanta, man. Especially as a teenager, man. All the teen clubs, all that kind of stuff, man. It was just a great time to grow up in Atlanta, grow up on the West Side. It was just an awesome time. So, man, happy graduation day. I know Washington graduated right after us, Booker T. Washington. And soon we walk on stage, they were getting ready to come in. So, just have a graduation day to them. But in the APS school, happy 30th. Y'all came out in 95 and everything. But again, back to the show, man. Thanks so much for the love and support. We growing. We at 86,000 on YouTube, 86,000. So if you have not subscribed to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube, go there. Subscribe to the channel. A lot of great information. 86,000 people can't be damn wrong. How about that? So just go there, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and take advantage of all the great information that we got. A lot more information come out for the end of the month. And again, tonight we discuss tips, business plan tips for new entrepreneurs. I had a long week, guys. Yeah, business plan tip for new entrepreneurs. I hope the 5 things we discussed. Just a quick recap. We talked about keeping everything simple and focused, knowing your numbers, define that target market, outline your marketing plan, and have a clear execution plan. All right, guys, take care of yourself. Love you all. Be safe. Like I said, hit me up. Subscribe to the channel. Hit me up, in the comments and anything, if anything pops up. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Take care. Love you. Be safe. And I'll talk with you soon.